What's going on, everybody? Joshua Stover here with Joshua Stover Training. If you guys are watching on YouTube, hello. Nice to see you. Hope you guys are having an excellent day. And if you're listening on the podcast, the Joshua Stover Training Podcast, I want to say thank you guys for tuning in and hello to you guys as well. Today, I just wanted to share a couple of thoughts I had with you guys. I started a new Facebook group. The Facebook group is called the Instagram Hustle. If you guys have listened to my origin story, I told you a little bit about, I got on Instagram, and Instagram is where I grew my first successful online business. My e-commerce business is actually one that's still running today. But I'm pretty passionate about getting in there and doing some organic work and organic strategies. So anyway, I started a new Facebook group. You guys are welcome to it. I will drop any and all links that I talk about today down below in the description. But I saw a question in another group, and I thought it was interesting, and I have my own opinions on it, but I wanted to share it to my group and see what some of the people in my group had to say about it. And the question was, this is somebody who's starting out with a new brand. They happen to be using a print-on-demand platform, meaning they have an online e-commerce website, and they're having somebody else make and fulfill their products at a little bit higher cost, but all the shipping and creating the products and fulfillment, everything's handled through this print-on-demand provider, or POD for short. This person asked, is it possible for me to wear, model, and sell my print-on-demand designs to friends and people I meet and just hand them a business card with the details of where they can buy them? And there's a bunch of people in this other group, kind of commenting on it. And I have my own opinion on this, but I wanted to ask my group and kind of see what their thoughts on this were. And I also want to hear what your guys' thoughts are. So if you guys aren't part of the group, go join the Instagram Hustle on Facebook, and we can chat about it there too. But one of the people in my group, Fernando says, my naive thoughts on this is, yes, it is possible to get a few sales this way. However, it is unlikely you're able to make a living this way. Print-on-demand businesses require scale to generate reasonable income, unless it's like a side hustle. Else it's a side hustle is what he says. Fernando, very good point, man. Like, I agree with you. When you're doing print-on-demand, your profit margins are smaller. So you need to be selling at scale to make more money because your demands are, or your profit margins are smaller. So that's a very, very good point on that. Yeah, and you also mentioned making a living that way too. So yeah, it's probably, well, let me finish. Before I give you my thoughts, let me read this other comment here. Someone else in the group, Don, think we need to market on a further reaching scale. If you happen to be selling some hometown items and maybe a little of you have a physical store, that might be a portion of your business. But generally, she also agreed with Fernando. So, very cool. So, I followed up both of those answers, and thank you guys for answering my question here and entertaining me, entertaining that. But I said I obviously do agree with both Fernando and Don. But I said, now let me ask you the same question, but let me rephrase it a little bit. Not rephrase it, change the objective of it. And that would be to, it's like, let me ask you the question, but instead of doing this in your hometown, what about taking this strategy to Instagram? Do you think you could turn that into a full-time strategy using Instagram? So basically what I'm talking about here, and this is kind of my point on this, as far as doing in-person sales, absolutely you can make a decent, you can build a decent brand, but it's going to have to be a local brand. If let's take somebody I follow on TikTok. He has got a brand in Kansas City. And if the brand was all about Kansas City and things dealing with Kansas City, whether it be, sports teams, no copyright issue type stuff, but, you got some sports teams, you got some local attractions, you got Kansas City, if you're a proud member of Kansas City, you love being there, it's your hometown, you can definitely sell stuff like that. There's another brand here in Iowa, where I'm at, that's what they do. They promote all Iowa type stuff. So you might be able to make some good traction if you're wearing your stuff around town and around to events, especially if it's a really cool shirt. And if it's a shirt that stops people, like, that's a good way to get traction. But the trick is, if you want to scale that, is you need to get more people wearing it and more people talking about it. And that's kind of where the scale is going to come from. And I think most of this leads up to what I'm getting to here is that you're going to need to take this presence online. And in my opinion, that's the best way to do it. And in my personal opinion, the best platform for that right now is Instagram. So let's say you get out there, and when you're doing this in person, or in theory, you're going to try doing this kind of in-person deal where you're selling things to people, talking to people, engaging with people, and you're getting some good traction. Now, I want you to take those same principles, and I want you to put that onto Instagram, meaning I guess one of the best things that I can compare this to, a good analogy, I guess, is someone else taught this, and I can't remember if it was Russell Brunson. I can't remember who I heard it from, but there's a lot of people who talk about it like this. And it's like, you need to treat social media like a big house party. Like, let's say back in your younger years, let's say college, you're in college and your friends invite you to, they're like, hey, we got a party we're going to, it's a friend of a friend. So, you know, you're probably not going to know a whole lot of people there. You guys are going to show up to the party, and you want to have a good time. I'm a pretty good people person. I can talk to most people about anything. I'm pretty good about not being awkward unless I want to be on purpose just for fun. But the way you want to go into these kind of parties is, one, you're going to go in and you're going to listen a little bit, right? You're going to look around and you're going to listen. You're typically not going to run in there and be loud and boisterous. And if you're doing that, it's going to be a turnoff for people, right? But if you go in there, you listen to people, you maybe introduce yourself into a conversation, you hear about maybe some guys are over here talking about cars. That's the conversation I'm probably going to go jump into, because that's one of the things that I'm into. So I'm going to go over there. I'm going to start listening to these people talking about cars. As they're talking about cars, as I start realizing that, hey, I've got some stuff that I can share that would be add value to the conversation, I'm going to share that stuff. And eventually they're going to open up, and I'm going to start talking to these people. And now I'm going to get to know these people, right? Now we've made a connection. That's great. If I keep talking about cool stuff, maybe we all start showing each other pictures on our cell phones of like, hey, here's something that I've worked on. Here's something that I've built. You're going to get to know each other better. And eventually what's going to happen is you guys are probably going to become friends on Facebook, right? You're going to be like, hey, you're a pretty cool dude or gal or whatever situation is. You got a Facebook or whatever. Or, it's like if I'm showing somebody my YouTube channel of things that I've built, like, we're going to get this connection, and people are going to they're going to follow each other, right? They're going to start following you. This is kind of like the exact same mindset that you want to bring to Instagram, especially when you're selling things or trying to market things. Like, you want to go out there and you want to go, for me, the easiest way to do it is to either go to someone's page who has a lot of followers that are in your niche or your area of expertise or whatever you're trying to market, right? Go to where the people are already at. Go find the big profiles. Go see what people are talking about. See what they're posting. Do those kind of things. Start posting on your profile a little bit. Start building up your home base. That way when you're out there interacting with people, if people go back to your homepage, you're going to see what you have to offer, right? So this is like the party analogy. You got your Instagram profile. That's you. Instagram's a giant house party. You're going to go out and you're going to start talking with people. You're going to start interacting with people, talking on people's comments, replying to comments. When you start posting your own stuff, you can start using hashtags. Hashtag, muscle cars. If you're into cars and stuff like that, you can do hashtag muscle car, hashtag, whatever brand you're into. Maybe you're like a Toyota fan, an off-road Toyota fan. There's a lot of off-road Toyota interest on Instagram, so you could go introduce yourself that way. But what's going to happen is people start seeing you. You want to start start engaging with these people, start creating these little conversations, interjecting stuff that you can to create value or interest to these people. That way they come back, they look at your profile, they start following you, they start engaging you. This is the best way to start with organic marketing. This is something that I did, and I worked at it really, really hard for like 3 solid months. I made a goal to post every day, minimum of 3 times a day, on up to 10 times a day. I think my happy medium I found was about 5 times a day is what my goal was. At least 4 to 5 times every day. And I did that for 3 months solid. I was interacting with people, talking, responding to people's comments, liking their stuff, going out and following. If there's a big page in my niche, which there's a bunch of them, go to those, find those people, follow the people that I know that are into what I'm offering as far as my brand and product. My specific brand was selling t-shirts, right? So I'm looking for people who would want to buy my brand of t-shirts. And just go create those friendships. Get them back to your page. Get them to like some of your stuff, and then follow you. But do the same thing to them too. It's all about friendships. And it's like I said, it's like this big party. If I were to show up and go to go to one of these big pages, and just start following or going through all their followers and all their engagers and just start sending them DMs being like, hey, I have a shirt, go buy my shirt. Like, no one's going to do that. Same thing with the party analogy, right? Like, you go into a party and you're being a big D-bag, like, no one's going to want you. That's going to happen. Try going to anything with a t-shirt and try selling a t-shirt with no one knowing who you are or what you're about. Like, it's not going to happen, right? So same thing here. So anyway, so I just want to talk to you guys about that a little bit. Like, treating everything kind of like a party. And that's the best way to, like, if you're questioning, should I post this? Should I not post this? Like, run it through that filter. Like, would this be something someone would like to hear? Is this going to provide value to somebody? Is this going to, help somebody out? Like, these are all great questions and filters to run your stuff through to figure out, like, hey, yeah, this is something I should definitely be using on my profile or using as a comment or, whatever, or a DM, DM strategy or something like that. So anyway, I think that's all very important. So back to the original question with, can you do it locally? Yes, you can. I would just take that time and that effort and that hustle that you have. Because, if a person's asking you, they're seriously thinking about going on hustling. And I applaud you for that, right? But take that and put that online, because eventually this is all going to turn to online anyway, more than likely, unless you're just a small, boutique or something in a small town. But take all that hustle, take it to Instagram, the Instagram hustle, right? And go put your energy and effort there. You're going to grow everything, and as you're growing, you're going to find that this thing starts exponentially growing. It starts compounding. It builds upon itself, one layer after another after another. And the more you do that, eventually you're going to have a big enough following where you might not even have to go to the paid ad side in the future. You can. I use paid ads all the time, but it is something that, one, you're going to learn so much by doing this, because you're going to learn how to talk to the people who are in your niche. You're going to learn what kind of things they do and don't like. So as far as design or product ideas and things in the future, you're going to learn all about that. As you build up your own audience, you're going to be able to bounce ideas off of them. Like, hey, what do you guys think about, like, I've got a new shirt design. What do you think? And I can put up a mock-up, see if people like it before I ever make the thing, right? So it gives you a very good idea of that. And once you kind of figure out how to talk to people, that ends up becoming kind of like your creative for your posts, like your text and things like that. You learn how to talk to people. You learn what kind of words and terms you use in that niche. You figure out what kind of pictures and or videos that people like to engage with, so that all becomes part of your marketing strategy. And eventually you just start doing the things that work for you over and over and over again. And as you do them more, you refine and you tweak, and everything starts growing for you. And then, like I said, if you do decide to go into paid ads in the future, all of that stuff can be just translated right over to paid ads, because if you can market with organic, you can market with paid. So anyway, I just want to talk about that a little bit. That was kind of weighing on my heart today as we were talking with some of the people in the group, and seeing some other in some other groups too, people kind of struggling with ads and things like that. And I'm a big believer in organic stuff, and if you push hard enough on organic, you can scale. Like I said, everything kind of compounds. The more you do it, the longer you do it, the bigger it gets. And eventually, once things get to kind of a critical mass, it just starts growing on its own. So anyway, I wanted to throw that out there for you guys. I hope that gives you a little bit of an idea of kind of what my thinking is about organic marketing, especially using Instagram and stuff like that. And I hope that provides you with a little bit of value, and maybe inspire some of you to get out there and get after it today. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much. I'll have some links down in the description below. Please go join the Facebook group. I'd love to interact with you guys and, kind of meet you there, be able to talk with you guys. I'm active on it every day. So anyway, I appreciate you guys again. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you later.